All righty, welcome back for another episode of Two Plain Sports. Today is Monday, September 19th. At this point, Jordan Renaud has committed to either Alabama or Oklahoma. We're going to be talking about his recruitment and what we feel Sunday evening. So if we're wrong, people can clown us, whatever, but I'm just warning you that we're recording this the night before, and we're just going to go off of what we feel right now. We're going to talk Jordan Renaud. We're going to talk DJ Lagway putting OU in his top 10, Malachi Coleman's recruitment after OU and Nebraska game, and then we're going to recap some more of that OU Nebraska game, and then we're going to recap our bets. I know I started off hot and then I fizzled out at the end of the weekend, so we'll go through that. And before we get into that, we're actually going to do the ticket giveaway for the Kansas State game. So over the last week or so, we've been putting out challenges for people to do, individual challenge, subscribe to the channel, various other things. So it's finally time for us to announce the winner, and you'll have till Wednesday morning to claim these, because if we don't see an email come through, we're going to have to give them away on Wednesday's video. So you have to, actually, I take that back. You need to let us know by Tuesday night. Tuesday night, we have to know if you're going to go and you want the tickets, because we need to give them to someone. So Jose's got a list of everyone. I have no idea what order, who's on the list. I'm going to pick a number. How many entries were there, Jose?
So we've got 32 total entries. Thank you, everyone, for participating. We're just going to have Brum pick a number between 1 and 32. Whoever it is, we'll pop up the name and their comment down below us, and we'll comment directly to you, letting you know you won, and how to contact us to get your tickets. But we can go ahead. 1 through 32, Brum. Pick a number.
1 through 32. You know who I'm going to pick? I want to pick number 3 because of Jalil Farouk showing up this weekend in this game. So who is number 3?
All right. Well, it is Wesley Brenham. Wesley Brenham. The name should be right there with your comment. Congratulations. Probably thank Jalil Farouk. Shout him out on Twitter or something, because it seems like that's how it was chosen. But we will comment on your YouTube comment, and then we'll let you know how to contact us to redeem your tickets. Congrats, man.
Yeah, definitely. Congrats. And we're going to continue doing this throughout the rest of the season. I know OU's got some other games, some home games, and we'll be giving away tickets there. So if you want to be entered into that, be sure to like this video and, future videos, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on so you know when we go live or post a video Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 9:30 a.m. Central. And then follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and Apple and Spotify. Everything's linked in the description below. We're knocking the door of 5,100 subscribers on here. Hit the subscribe button. It's free, easy, helps us out a lot, and it helps bring in more Sooner fans for this. So congrats again. Be sure to email us. If we don't hear from you by the end of Tuesday, we will do another number, and we will give away these tickets and try to give someone a chance to go to the game. And it's going to be a pretty fun game and a big game. I mean, I know Kansas State lost, but at the end of the day, it's a night game in Norman, Big 12 opener, pretty fun game. So let's get into it. Jordan Renaud. So at this point, like I said earlier, we will know where he's going. He's slated to commit tomorrow as we're recording this. So Monday this morning at 9 a.m. Central. He's picking between Oklahoma and Alabama. He's currently 6'4", 245 pounds, 2023 4-star, number 129 overall, and number 15 defensive lineman in the class, according to 247. He's higher in their composite ratings. OU hosted him for an official on September 10th. And then OU this past weekend, Friday night, went out and saw him play. Miguel Chavis and Todd Bates flew out. I don't know if they flew or drove, but went down to Tyler and watched him play, and were there. So they basically got the last official visit. They got the last in-person visit before his commitment. And at this point, if Oklahoma can't win out, it is what it is. Obviously, you'll know by now. Jose, what do you think? What's your gut feeling telling you and where he's going to go?
I think it's still a very close race. It seems like Alabama still the leader. But the fact that Bates and Chavis went to visit him on Friday before the Nebraska game during his football game, I feel like that could be a big factor. Oklahoma winning by so dominantly, especially at the line of scrimmage, could help out. He did. I don't remember who it was that he spoke with. If it was 247 or On3 or a different recruiting platform. They asked him like the differences between the programs and what, something that he had thought about in his selection, because he does have his mind made up. I think it was I guess who knows, but I guess it was reported that he had a pretty solid decision on like Wednesday or something like that on where he was going. But he said one place is a place where you can be the first group to start establishing a culture and setting up the program for long-term success, Oklahoma, and then or you can go to the other program and be the next one up in the dynasty. So, I mean, it really just depends on what he's wanting to do. I know when we've talked about him in the past, you've mentioned that his family seems to, want him at Oklahoma, but he wants to go to Alabama. I think at the end of the day, his desire is going to be where he's going to end up. So if it is Alabama, don't blame him at all. They pump out first round, second round defensive linemen all the time. So it wouldn't be a bad place to go. Oklahoma might be a little bit better because he would get more playing time quicker, but if he can win out at Alabama, he's pretty much guaranteed to be in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, I wish I could know, depending on, what he's going to decide this morning. But at the end of the day, Steve Wiltfong has crystal balled him in favor of Alabama. It seems like Alabama's they've been in the lead going into that official visit on the 10th for Oklahoma. After that official visit, it seemed like it opened his eyes and it made him start second thinking things. Oh, you saw him again Friday night. It's hard to count this staff after what they've done. I mean, think about Anthony Evans. The morning of his recruitment, it seemed like he was going to Georgia, and he probably was. And he ended up committing to Oklahoma. How about Colton Fosseck, where they basically put a full court press on him, where we thought for a while that he was long gone. We didn't talk about Colton Fosseck for like 2 months on this show. And then all of a sudden we started seeing Jackson Arnold and people tweeting at him saying, hey, come to Oklahoma. He visited July and then he committed. And, that type of deal, we've never really had that in a long time as far as, the ability to close out and win big time recruitments and go head to head against Alabama. Or Georgia or, other schools, Texas and Oregon beat them out. Brandon Drum and Parker Thune, at the time we're recording this, still have crystal balls in favor of Oklahoma. And I think I'm going to lean Oklahoma in this pick. I think he's going to realize, he saw this dominant performance this past weekend against Nebraska. I think he realized that, okay, I have a chance to go play day one or, at least contribute as a true freshman. There's a path for me there. I'm going to get developed by one of the premier defensive coordinator defensive linemen, coaches, and things like that. And OU will be going to the SEC, and arguably it could be next year, probably not. It'll probably be in 2024 if it's going to go early. So, he's going to be playing in the SEC for sure during his time here. I just feel like that Oklahoma is going to be able to win out. And the way that this defensive line has looked through the first 3 games, you can't deny it.
Yeah, there's the performance on the field definitely helps Oklahoma with any, I think, defensive lineman, running back for sure. Safeties with Billy Bowman performing so well. So it really will just depend on where the guy wants to go. I really, since his family wants him at Oklahoma and he's leaning another way, it really seems, I like it. Like you, I wish we knew for sure where it was. I think this is just going to be a last second call by him with, both programs being currently undefeated. And clearly both of them are in the right direction for this season's, potentially being playoff teams or in the playoff conversation.
At the end of the day, if he chooses Alabama, like you said earlier, I can't blame the kid. No ill will, best of luck to him if he does choose Alabama this morning. It is what it is. OU is going to tear it up, continue, in the 2024 class. They've already done really good in 2023, potentially with David Hicks still coming on board. So at the end of the day, if Oklahoma loses out on Renaud just because that's where his heart's telling him, I'd rather a guy pick that now rather than committing to Oklahoma, decommitting, and then flipping to Alabama come December. So if you're going to go to Alabama, just do it. Just let's be done and let's not go through this whole process. So either way, it is what it is. I'm happy with where Oklahoma's at in this recruitment and the ability to go, one-on-one with Alabama and basically make it really hard on them. It hasn't been that hard for recruits to turn Oklahoma down along the defensive line. It's now hard to do so. So it's moving in the right direction. Do you have any more thoughts on him, or are we going to move on? OU Sunday, DJ Lagway put Oklahoma in his top 10. DJ Lagway, 6'2", 225-pound quarterback from Willis, Texas, 2024, 5-star. He's the number 5 quarterback in the class. He put, along with Oklahoma, he put Alabama, Arkansas, Baylor, Clemson, Florida, Georgia, LSU, Texas A&M, and USC are his top 10, along with obviously Oklahoma. It seems like that, OU, I think, Jose, you did some research before. OU's offered him both in baseball and football. It seems like Oklahoma would like to have DJ Lagway. Really, the only 2 quarterbacks that Oklahoma's recruiting is DJ Lagway and Michael Hawkins Jr. from Allen, Texas. My gut's telling me that Hawkins is going to be Oklahoma's guy just because I think he will pull the trigger earlier. I just think that DJ Lagway is going to enjoy the recruitment process and kind of, make sure he makes the right decision. And I don't get the sense that he's in any hurry to make a decision. Hey, you're muted.
Thank you. So for both the quarterbacks, I think there's a chance that we won't hear their commitment for a while, probably at the end of their high school football season, so that for them, they can take time as well, not having to think about it. And post football season, they can just go full court press and help out whatever coaching staff they commit to start recruiting, the weapons they'll be playing with and the other guys in their class. But I definitely agree. It seems like Hawkins is Oklahoma's guy right now. I would like DJ to be the quarterback for Oklahoma because he is super athletic, runs super fast, definitely has similar qualities to a Jackson Arnold when you're trying to compare the quarterbacks. But I think DJ is really interested in Florida. That seems to be the leader right now for his commitment. He is wanting to play baseball. His dad was also a running back at Baylor in the late 90s. I think it was 97 to 01. So he does have that connection there. How much that will play into his recruitment, not 100%, but clearly it is playing some sort of so there is something there because they are in his top 10. But at the end of the day, I think that being at Florida is going to be where he ends up. Given the fact that he also wants to play baseball, I think Oklahoma should entertain the possibility of playing both positions at Oklahoma. But he's taken a lot of trips to A&M in Florida, from what I've gathered, over the last couple of weeks, trying to see if Oklahoma even has a shot for him. But A&M and Florida seem to be where he is most interested. I believe he was at A&M this last weekend for the Miami game.
It seemed like A&M had a lot of recruits on campus, including DJ Hicks and Peyton Bowen and Eli Bowen. They were all there this weekend. Obviously, every one of them's a target for Oklahoma. And they obviously ended up winning, which is unfortunate. I was hoping Miami would win, but it's not unexpected for Texas A&M to win that game. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be something to watch. I felt like for a while earlier in his recruitment, right around when Oklahoma was giving out offers for the 2024 quarterback class, he was visiting quite a few times with Oklahoma. I think he's been on campus 3 or 4 times, maybe two or three. It's somewhere in there, 2 to 4 times. So he's obviously interested in Oklahoma. I just don't get the gut feeling that he's going to be the guy unless he's ready to commit in a few, in a month. But I don't see that happening, going from top 10 to a commitment in just a couple months. I just don't see it. Maybe in the spring, that might be when he might commit, but not sure.
I think that's the same for Hawkins too. I really don't think we're going to see a commitment probably for the 24 class in general till wintertime, December, January, just because of Venable's philosophy of taking in the full recruitment process and knowing 100% you want to be at Oklahoma. It would be really hard for me to think of a kid that Venables will accept, because I think there are plenty of players that would like to commit to, like David Stone. That guy's been a hard Oklahoma lean. It seems like it's really Oklahoma's guy to lose, but he's not committed yet, and it's not because it doesn't seem like he wants to be a Sooner. It's just Venable's recruiting philosophy doesn't allow for that quite yet.
Yeah. So something that we'll be keeping an eye on, and it's always good whenever you're making a top 5 quarterback, you're making his top 10 list. Obviously, Levy and the Sooners are doing something right when you're getting put on the radar for these kids. So we'll move on. Malachi Coleman, 2023 4-star, number 88 overall, and number 7 athlete in the class, and the number 1 player in the state of Nebraska from Lincoln, Nebraska. 6'5", 205. He is down to Oklahoma, Nebraska. If anyone didn't know, he was slated to attend USC officially this weekend. He canceled it. He attended the OU Nebraska game. He got to witness what his future might look like at Nebraska, and what his future might look like at Oklahoma. I think that this game was extremely important in his decision. I think, obviously Mickey Joseph is his guy, and he probably really, really likes Mickey Joseph. But I get the feeling that Oklahoma, after this game, pretty much locked it down. I don't think that he would want to go to Nebraska. If you did go to Nebraska, you would have to be willing to kind of be irrelevant in the Big Ten for a while. I mean, think about it, whether Mickey Joseph gets hired or not, or if it's, Matt Campbell or, whoever they end up hiring, it's going to take a few years before you know what you really have in that coach. And are you going, I know it's commit to the program, not to one player. And that's what Oklahoma did with Riley leaving and Venables coming in. And I get that. But when the program has been so dysfunctional for so long, at least Oklahoma had a reputation of being competitive within the last few years. Nebraska hasn't not been at the top of the game or even in the upper echelon in years.
Yeah, I definitely agree that Oklahoma has taken a more commanding lead for Malachi's commitment. I'm still just the fact that Nebraska is there because of the fact that you're saying, and you're 100% right. Nebraska hasn't been even competitive in their division of the Big Ten. Really, they haven't been a relevant team in a long time, but they're still in it for his commitment. To me, that just seems like staying close to home, and I've said it a couple of times now, is something that might be important to him, to where it's the deciding factor. Is it worth it for him to leave Lincoln, Nebraska, or Nebraska in general, to go down to Norman and play, at a big time program? Or does he want to stay at home? I really think that even if he commits to Oklahoma in October, I think it's 22nd of October is his commitment date, I would not close that 100%. I personally think that he might even push it off because of the coaching decision that Nebraska still has to make. If someone is hired between now and that October 22nd date, maybe that'll start pushing something forward. That seems very unlikely, given that there's still plenty of games in the schedule for a coach to be hired. But I mean, who knows? Maybe it's Urban Meyer, and they can get him to start recruiting for him before the end of the season. But I don't know. I just feel like while Oklahoma does have a lead, there's still that unanswered question of, if it's a coach that he likes at Nebraska, will he want to stay at home? And I think that's the biggest concern there.
Well, the thing is I think the only reason why Nebraska's in this is because of Mickey Joseph. If Mickey Joseph does not get the head coaching job, most likely the interim head coach does not stay around in any
Yeah.
changes. If Mickey is gone, I don't see him staying at home at all, unless maybe if it's Urban Meyer. But if you're Urban Meyer, why would you ever go coach at Nebraska? I think he would have the pick of the litter to go coach wherever he wanted for any once top program. The thing is with him, he's slated to commit October 22nd. He is not taking an official to Oklahoma, and there is not one scheduled. There seems to be some really odd deal going on where Oklahoma hasn't given him a date to come in for an official yet, and it's just kind of dragging out for a bit. And I don't quite understand what's going on, why that hasn't happened. But I would imagine that in the next week or 2 weeks, maybe week to 10 days, you're going to see him schedule an official visit to Oklahoma for the October, I think it's October 15th game he could be coming down to, depending on, his high school game that Friday night. It could be October 15th. And he's not going to go down to the OU Texas game on the 8th. So if he doesn't come down for the Kansas State game on Saturday, his only opportunity to officially visit Oklahoma before his commitment date, granted, assuming it doesn't move, is the Kansas game. That's it. So Oklahoma better either get it scheduled for this weekend or the Kansas game, because if you don't get an official, that's when I'm going to start to get nervous. If you don't see him coming officially visiting, not many kids will commit to you without taking an official visit to the school.
When's the last time he was on campus? Because Derek LeBlanc never took a official visit, but he did unofficially visit a ton of times before his commitment date.
To be honest, I'm not 100% sure.
Because I think that's the one. If he's been on campus a few times, then maybe that. Because I agree, for the most part, official visits help you get an idea of where the player stands with the team, especially at this point in the recruitment process. But if he's been on campus a ton of times, maybe he's just trying to save it up to the end, maybe like the Bedlam game where there's supposed to be, some big time commits there. Maybe the Kansas game is when he gets invited to a visit officially. It is a little bit down the road, so it's not having to do a quick turnaround for him and his family in Oklahoma to logistically figure out how he can get there and all that stuff. But Kansas, I know we talked about it in our video last week, that there's supposed to be some players there in the 23 class to visit. I think Derek LeBlanc is one of them, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, LeBlanc's coming in to try to lock down some commitments that weekend. Hopefully Malachi Coleman is one of those guys that's going to be there. Potentially could DJ Hicks show up officially then? I'm not sure. Maybe. There's going to be some visitors for that game. And then obviously Bedlam is going to be a big recruiting weekend, probably, for a few uncommitted guys, but for the most part, it's probably just going to be most of the commits. So we will move on from recruitment, which I know a lot of people enjoy recruitment talk. We've already done an initial, takeaway or reaction video to the OU Nebraska game. And we can now take a few minutes. Do you have any other thoughts that we didn't consider? I know we didn't consider the recruiting impact of this game, and we kind of talked some recruiting earlier. Do you have any final thoughts on this OU Nebraska game and what your overall takeaway was?
I think for the most part, my thoughts from yesterday's initial reaction video Saturday's initial reaction video still stand. I think the only thing we didn't really address was how good the passing defense was for a Nebraska team that was seemingly firing on all cylinders on the offensive side of the ball, averaging almost 30 points a game. Casey Thompson had 3 good games, at least as an individual player, in regards to passing. Yeah, he made mistakes, but he was also making some big plays for Nebraska. And during the game, during the Oklahoma game, he only passed for 129 and a touchdown, and didn't run for any. He actually has a negative 30 yards rushing, but obviously that's because of the sacks and the tackles for loss. I think there is still some improvement in the running defense. even though Anthony Grant wasn't a huge factor, their backups were still doing pretty well. They were really explosive and bigger backs. So definitely some things to work on, but I think overall the game was really well. Oklahoma's trending in the right direction. Dylan Gabriel showed that he's extremely explosive out of being able to take care of the ball. He can, or maybe not extremely explosive, probably a bit of an overreaction there, but he is an explosive player that where he can make plays with his legs. As we get throughout the season and with conference play, I bet during the Texas game, that's when the full playbook will be on display, especially if Quinn Ewers is back or even Hudson Card. Oklahoma's going to need to pull out some tricks to get the dub against Texas.
Definitely. So, overall, you can't complain. I know a few people commented on our videos that were like sunshine pumpers and all this other stuff and, overreacting and like, this is a terrible Nebraska team. Well, I get that. But you look around college football and the top programs and who they've been playing in their non-conference schedule. People are talking about how good, Michigan looks. Well, has anyone taken a second to look at who Michigan played in their first 3 games? It's nobody. The reason why I'm so excited is because even for the bad teams, we weren't able to dominate in previous years. We finally are at that point. Now, the question will be, can they continue? Can they get up for the Kansas State game? Kansas State's coming off a loss to Tulane, who OU almost lost to last year. Can Oklahoma get up for that game? I believe that they can. I don't think they're going to struggle. I think they're going to come out fired up. The crowd's going to be into the game. It's going to be a night game, believe it or not. It's still weird to me to say that we're playing a Big 12 conference game and that's not Bedlam at night. I think the crowd's going to be ready to roll. It's going to be comfortable outside. People aren't going to be, needing water and, all this other stuff. They're going to be able to kind of enjoy themselves. And I think Oklahoma's going to be fired up. And I think they know that they need to have style points to sell David Hicks, sell Peyton Bowen, sell Ryan Yates. And those guys could be there for Kansas State's game, the OUK State game. David Hicks might be there. Peyton Bowen might be there. Ryan Yates might be there. There's talks of that. We'll talk about that later this week. But overall, you can't complain. I don't think Clemson's that good. I think OU's going, as long as OU continues to play the way that they are. Texas kind of struggled against UTSA. Granted, they were playing with their backup quarterback. I think Oklahoma is the team to beat in the Big 12, and I think people are just now starting to realize it. So
yeah, I agree. Do you want to move on to our betting recap?
Yeah.
For the weekend? So I got to double check myself, but I believe I went 3-3. Lost Nebraska, had them with the points. Glad I lost it. Alabama minus 49.5. Pretty sure they won that by 50.
Iowa 63-7.
Yeah. So actually I went 4-2. Iowa. No, just kidding. So I got the Iowa under 38.5. I will continue to bet the under for every Iowa game. Unfortunately, they were able to score quite a bit of points for themselves. I also had Nevada plus 23.5. Iowa scored 27 and blanked Nevada. So lost that one. Miami plus 6.5. Pretty sure they lost by more than 6.
They did.
And then did Kansas win or did they keep that game close? All right. So then I won the Kansas one. So yeah, 3-3 for the weekend.
Yep. I went 3-3 as well. I took Nevada plus 23. Iowa scored 27 points. I took OU, Nebraska, OU minus 11. So that was comfortable. UTSA and Texas. That one, Texas ended up winning, I think, by 18. So I lost that one. I took Florida State minus 2.5 against Louisville. They covered. They won. Texas Tech plus 10.5. They ended up losing to NC State, but they lost by like 14, I think it was 14 or 17. I can't remember. And then Michigan State, Washington, the total was 56.5, and that hit the over. So 3-3 as well for me. I am 14-10 overall. You are now 13-13. 13-13. So we're not doing bad overall. I mean, when you're doing this, you're looking for 55, 60%,
Yeah.
and we're there pretty close.
I need one weekend of more hits than misses. Maybe it'll be this weekend. I think this weekend slate's actually gonna be pretty good.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be, love the board, right? Can't get enough of it. So,
Exactly.
yeah, we'll have to do another ticket giveaway. As I talked earlier, unfortunately, the next game after K-State's going to be at TCU and then OU Texas. We probably won't give away those tickets. Those will cost a small fortune. And then maybe the Kansas game. Maybe the Kansas game will be the next one we give away. We could probably give away a handful of tickets for that game because it probably won't be that expensive. So, again, be sure if you were the winner, be sure to either respond to the comment, email to us, and that way we can get the tickets to you. If not, you're still watching this, and then Wednesday comes around, someone else might be the winner. So, Jose, do you have any thoughts, or do you want to roll into the end of video challenge?
Let's just go into the end of video challenge. So for today, let's just go with who. Oh, a segment we haven't done in a while. Man, I love football moment of the week, MILF moment of the weekend. Mine is going to be. I'm going to pick Dylan Gabriel's run. I think that was what ignited the Oklahoma offense because it looked kind of bad the first couple of drives. And then after that, it was just an absolute slaughter of the Nebraska defense. So that's my pick. Then the video challenge is what is your MILF moment of the weekend?
Mine will be Mike Evans running around and trucking Marshawn Lattimore because something about Mike Evans and the Saints, he just does not care for him. And that was pretty, that's football to a T right there. So, yeah, let us know what you think. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on. It helps us out a lot. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. I think on Twitter, we're almost at 2,100 followers. So help us out there. Get us up to over 2,100. We're almost at 5,100 subscribers on here. I know a lot of you watch this video and aren't subscribed. Hit the subscribe button. It's easy. And be sure to leave us a review on Apple or Spotify. And we will catch you guys on Wednesday, probably for a preview of K-State, maybe a little recruiting talk. And then Friday, we'll figure something out. See you guys.